I'm Chris Murphy.
And I'm Jennifer Logan.
And we're the Community Theater Heroes.
We host a weekly podcast where we interview theater companies,
actors,
casting directors,
playwrights,
composers,
and other theater artists to give our listeners helpful advice, tips, and insight for their own careers.
And life in general, because we believe that live theater has the power to make the world a better place.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 3 of the Community Theater Heroes podcast.
In this episode, we interview actor and director Jason England, who is also the president of the board at Twilight Theater Company.
Jason talks to us about his casting process as a director and the responsibilities of being the president of a theater company.
Even though this is our 3rd episode, this was actually the first podcast we ever recorded. Hope you enjoy this episode.
Yeah, that's right, folks. We have the one and only Jason England.
Mr. England.
Yes. Oh my God, if you could see him, if you could see what I am looking at right now.
The donut crumbs.
The donut crumbs.
Lightly
all over
dusting
his
his salt and pepper beard. The blue glasses lining his eyes.
Not an
Stop
ounce
me,
of
stop me.
fear.
No, please keep
Stop
going.
me. Please stop. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sweetie, darling.
Sweetie.
Well, Jason, thank you for being on our podcast.
Guest.
The first
The
guest.
first
on our-
guest.
Oh, I'm happy to be here. I'm really excited.
We are so excited too. We sent you a bunch of questions this week. We're not going to get a chance to hit on them all.
Understandable.
So
I
let's
wrote
get to
you
the
a novel.
important
A novel.
ones.
Seriously.
Coke or Pepsi?
I learned so much about Jason that
I did too.
I never thought
I did too.
or
I
wanted
knew
to
a little
know.
bit about the. Oh.
Hopefully some good stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
You know.
But in case those of you that are listening do not know who Jason England is,
that's very
we
fair.
should probably introduce who he is.
Oh man. Okay, so I met Jason when he cast me in The Normal Heart in the fall of last year, winter.
No, it was like January.
Yeah, it was,
Okay,
it was
so
the February mid
Okay,
show.
so a year ago,
2017.
A year ago, exactly.
In case you're listening in 2020.
2023. Anyway, he casted me, and it was such a great. He has such a great casting process. I think when you try and cast a project, there's so many things that go into play, right? There's who shows up, who am I going to cast, who do I know that I'm going to work well with these people, all of these different things come into play. And I was totally new. I had taken that big 7-year hiatus from theater, and he totally gave me a chance, and it was
She nailed
wonderful.
She nailed the monologue like everybody in the room.
Aww.
And then little Ryder, just adorable. Did you get the part, Mom?
Oh, if you don't know, Ryder's my son that I will bring to everything. He's in the other room because babysitters is expensive. Let me tell you what.
Yeah, we are po folk.
We po folk. This podcast is
babysitters.
on its baby steps. So, yeah, he came to the audition, and afterwards he was like, "Did you get the job, Mama?" Like, yes.
Yes, I did.
Be proud of your mother.
Pay you in
I
the
gave him
car.
knuckles under the table, like, yeah,
Nailed it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's actually where I met Jason for the first time too. Not at your audition.
Oh.
But I also auditioned for The Normal Heart.
That's where you dropped out of the play and ruined everyone's life.
I did that thing.
For so many reasons.
I had just moved up here too permanently from Southern California, and I literally got a job that week. And it was one of those terrible things where I had to be that jerk. I'm dropping out of the show. But it worked out because Josiah
Came
took the role.
in, was
And
great
Yeah, he
in
was
that
fantastic.
You seemed like you hesitated.
What?
Right there.
No.
It was great.
role. No, he was great. He
Josiah's
was
awesome.
greit. The appearance of Josiah in that role was...
But that
Yep.
play, that play was really amazing. I ended up
Wasn't
seeing
it?
it. I think the final weekend, I finally.
Yeah.
I've been waiting to see it for so long, and I sat right in the front row to bug Jennifer.
That's a thing that we do. It's like a thing where, yeah. It's,
For that monologue?
Well, any show that we're in. Like,
I didn't
can't
know she
remember
was
how
going to be
it
in a
started.
motorized wheelchair,
Yeah.
so that was
I
amazing.
broke her legs for the show.
Yeah.
I'm method. I'm very method.
Yeah.
She said, "Take it to the kneecaps." Take it.
But yeah, Jason, you did an amazing job with that production. I mean, that is some really heavy material.
Yeah.
What drew you to The Normal Heart?
I've always wanted to do The Normal Heart. It's one of my favorite plays. Back in my early days, in my 20s, and I was doing theater at Western Oregon University, I'd come up every Saturday and see Triangle Productions. And they were still in the beginning 20 years ago, and it was very gay themed because we needed that community at that time. So I would go and see Jeffrey and the Sum of Us, and I just loved gay theater. So I did gay theater at Western Oregon Theater as well. And I wanted to do The Normal Heart, but it was still too close to the time. And the gay community was still dealing with it. And then when they did the revival of it, and it won Tonys, and then they did the movie of it, I'm like, it's a perfect time for it now. And then with the political world that we're in,
it just overlapped.
It
was incredible, like the political cycle that was happening, and then I think the inauguration happened like a week or two before we started rehearsals, and everything just paralleled doing the research, because he was so good at like supplementing. You know how they do those like Facebook groups, and they're like, oh, you know, this is the group for the cast and crew group for Twilight's The Normal Heart.
Right.
And they would put in a bunch of, so much historical things. Like, hey, guys, watch this documentary. Hey, guys, you know, look at this article.
These are the real people that you're portraying.
It helped so
That's
much.
great. And a lot of, I know a lot of theater companies, especially community theater, drops the ball in that department. Like, they don't really take the time to, I can't speak for everyone, but I know I've worked with a lot of companies that don't take the time to do that research.
For me, it's also about building the community. If you're enjoying each other off stage, when you're on stage, it's magic. You've built that friendship. That friendship transfers over. You've had those talks. You've had those emotions and everything.
That chemistry.
So I wanted to create that, and then I also had like Cascade AIDS Project come in and talk to the cast.
Oh, that's amazing.
We had another fellow who survived the whole crisis and lost a lot of his friends come in and talk. It was a hard sell because a lot of the community was still fresh from it, I guess, and they were like, we lived it. Why do we want to see it and relive it again? And it was hard to watch. I watched every show.
Well, one of the big things, I don't know if you remember, it was like he gave the option to the audience and cast, like everyone who would
to write their name.
To write the names of someone that they knew. It was kind of like our version of the AIDS quilt, you know, and that seeing that list kind of grow and grow.
If you didn't see the show, what Jennifer is talking about is on the upstage wall, I believe. Like,
and there was
chalk, a bunch of different colored pieces of chalk.
Periactoids.
People wrote all over the wall with names of their loved ones that had died from AIDS, and it was really powerful.
It was.
And unique. It was great. It was a really interesting set.
Yeah, I was very, very proud of that show. And the cast. It built a family. I mean, they loved each other off stage. They loved each other on stage.
Because I think when you go through something like that, it's such a heavy show, and there's other shows like this too. Like, by the time this airs, it'll be over. But the Rape of Lucrece with Jessica Tidd and Matt Inslee, that show also was very, very heavy, and they've created this huge bond, and that's what we did as well. Like, when you go through some of those experiences, those really heavy. Where you're just laying it all out on the stage every single rehearsal and every single day, it almost forms like a PTSD type of traumatic bond where the friendships happen hard, they happen fast, and you kind of need each other to navigate that trauma.
You see each other at a very vulnerable place, especially when you're in the moment, which was just beautiful. There's just this nice arc of so it was Ron, then Michael, then you, then Johnny. Oh yeah, and you're just like
Well, these scenes that he's talking about, they would be like kind of the emotional climax of the play where, and because they moved so fast, it was like this one character would set the stage for this other character to get upset, and then you as an actor kind of use that motivation in the wings. You're watching the other actors get upset, and it kind of, if someone stumbled and they had an off night, it was like a domino effect. So it really is magic, that's happening on there.
And a lot of, what brings that magic is the casting. And so, what do you look for when you cast a show?
This is the, when I'm casting,
Yeah. Tell me why you picked me, Mr. England. No, not really.
Well, and
Anyone.
Jason has another play that he's
and
directing,
comedy is much harder, a much harder
Is it?
process.
It's gonna be completely-
Why? Why do you think it's harder than drama?
Because comedy, especially farce, it can run a fine line of like overacting and melodrama, and it's
live in that
too
line.
much, and you want a little bit of the characteristics, but you want it to be truthful.
Right.
Humor, for me anyways, the really good comedies is when the people that are on stage know what they're saying and they own it.
Yeah.
So I look for people who can do cold readings like that. Sometimes people can't read that well, and you can tell. And it's not that they're bad actors. You've seen them in other shows. They just don't read well. So I look at looks.
Yeah.
Some of it a lot of it has to do with talent too. I mean, I can have this set person that I want in my mind, and then this other person that doesn't look anything what I had in my mind, but they know what they're saying, and
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I can see them in that. But
What a
it's
hard
hard to
decision.
it's hard to jump from there, because once you jump from there, you're like, okay, the two men that were going to be with
It's
her,
the whole piece is on
now
the board.
do they fit with
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
And what is the name of the play that you're directing soon?
it's only a play by Terrence McNally.
Yeah, and you said that can lead really easy to like farce and over the top characters. What are you looking for that play? Like when auditions come up, they come up in about a week, don't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Next
he will have already cast it by the time this airs, but it's still fun to talk about.
The thing with this play is that every single one of us in the community knows these people.
Yeah, it's like an inside joke.
Has been this person, or
I think in every community,
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
because I know we've all come from different communities before working in Portland, and it's a lot of the same tropes and things like exist
the
everywhere.
Archetypes are just repeated.
It's funny.
Yeah.
So you were saying so.
So, say for instance, the older woman. She needs to be a diva, but I don't necessarily want to work with a diva. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm a people person. I'm emotions on my sleeve. So it's really easy for me sometimes, and this is my hugest fault that I've been working on, is that I take things too personally that have nothing to do with me.
Right.
It's getting rid of that voice in my head that says, like me, please like me, please like me, please like me, and throwing that out the window and like, they like you, just do the show.
Right.
And if they don't, who cares? Let them have a fun experience.
So the professional relationship and how they conduct themselves
Yeah.
has to be that
Yeah.
makes sense.
I want
That makes
professionalism. I want kindness.
Yeah.
Everybody's a little bit of a diva. Everybody. I mean, I am.
sense. Yeah.
So
But I mean, it's in levels.
it's in levels, and as long as it's an endearing kindness, am I making sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah. As long as the diva quality doesn't obstruct someone else's process
Right.
or the rehearsals, or you know what I mean, like, because we're all a little bit narcissistic.
Well,
we all have a
we're
little bit
actors
of
on
egos.
stage.
Yes.
And even people that aren't actors, like playwrights and directors, like it's a different kind of thing. Like, it's a vulnerability, like sharing your art with anyone.
Yeah.
And you want people to like it. You want to be liked. It's a natural thing.
Yeah.
You want to feel validated.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, it's a huge self-esteem thing, and it's a therapy thing too. Being on stage and being on stage.
Very cathartic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoy the therapy of being on stage. I mean, to be able to get in touch with emotions and things that you don't necessarily deal with in your own life, or you choose not to because it's safer for you.
Yeah.
So to be able to express that on stage and get it out of your system, then you're able to process things in your real life a little
Oh
bit.
yeah. Like I know personally, I can be on stage. I enjoy the odd comfort of it. Like I feel safer on stage sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because you know what to kind of
Yeah,
expect,
you know, and I can be silly, I can be dumb, I can do whatever I want on stage, but then I can be totally socially awkward in real life.
This is absolutely
And you guys
true.
have seen it. Like
Yes.
I don't like to go to cast parties.
Yeah, I was like, hey, Chris, let's totally go out. He's gone. He left.
Yeah.
The
where'd
Irish
you
goodbye.
go?
And now you have a wife as an excuse. So
yeah,
you can leave even
I
earlier.
use Amanda, my wife,
She
as an
wants to go
excuse
Yeah.
all the time.
Poor man.
I use West.
Amanda,
the
she's
same
got
way.
scurvy. I've got to tend to her.
But yeah, I don't know what. I know I've always had that thing like where people say like, oh, you couldn't be awkward or insecure or socially like awkward. Well, you're on stage all the time. Like, how could you? Well, I totally am. You know,
Yeah. That's not
it's
me on
weird.
stage. That's
No,
the,
it's
yeah.
not. Yeah.
All right, so we spent a lot of time talking about auditions. Why did you choose to get involved with Twilight specifically? What is your involvement for people that don't know with Twilight Theater Company?
It was all Danielle Tinker.
Okay.
We were at Western Oregon University together. We did shows together.
Nice.
In fact, we did Twilight of the Golds.
Wow.
Yeah, I directed it.
And you said that's one of your favorite plays, right?
Yeah. I directed it, starred in it, and she played my sister. And then they brought it back here almost 20 years later, and Danny and I played the exact same parts.
Oh,
that's
that's
fun.
cool.
And it was, fun experience.
That was in Twilight's second season.
Second season, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't really. Danny kept trying to get me involved, and I visited the other founders and saw a couple shows and everything like that. But I just wasn't ready to be involved.
Yeah.
And then I got pestered into auditioning for Dearly Departed, and I
And
auditioned.
when was this?
2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got a part. Amazing cast, great group of friends. Had a great time. So then they asked me if I wanted to be on the board. So I got more on the board. Really fresh company. So there were some quirks to work out.
Yeah, being on a board is difficult.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Yeah, there's a lot more to it than just saying yes and no.
Yeah.
Which Joe Strom did a great job as our first president, and then they made Dorinda artistic director and executive managing director for Danielle, and they do a great job running the business. So but Joe really was busy and went to Roosevelt. Or I mean, she didn't go to Roosevelt. Roosevelt is her priority, which is completely understandable.
And what's Roosevelt?
It's
high school.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
she's a drama
Yeah.
teacher too.
Oh.
Their theater is
Oh,
amazing.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
she's
didn't
doing
know that.
Good work.
really great work there.
Right.
So I stepped in as vice president to help out, and then took over.
Yeah.
This year I just decided, I want to be more involved. I really love this theater. It's my home away from home.
Yeah.
I mean, you spent the last month here pretty
Oh
much
my
every
gosh!
single
Yeah,
night.
you
You
both
and I?
have had
Yeah.
such
Yeah.
a crazy rehearsal schedule.
And then I'm like by the end I'm so frustrated. I'm like, I cannot be here anymore.
Yeah.
And then by 2 days later I'm like, I really need
Yeah.
to go.
You know,
You're
I felt
theater
that. I felt
twitching.
that same
Yeah.
way. Like, I think it was like Wednesday of last week. I'm like, man, I haven't been at Twilight in a while.
Withdrawals.
Yeah.
Like it was a weird feeling, and a lot of people get that. That's the beauty of theater, man.
Yeah. So Dorinda and I are texting all week. I miss you too.
I miss you too.
We just saw each other 2 days ago, but I still miss you.
So you're president of the board now.
Yeah.
What does that entail? Like, what do you have to do as president?
It's a work in process. I'm learning as I go along. Joe's helping a great deal. It's
Like what?
It's just making sure that the business runs and we're by the book,
Okay.
by the bylaws, by the law.
Okay.
Making sure that we cross our T's and dot our I's. Making sure that we have a good group of people. Everybody here's a volunteer, which is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
So making
It's
sure
a good group of people.
Yeah, making sure that we create and keep an environment where
Yeah.
people want to volunteer, where they want to come
Yeah.
back.
The volunteers,
Yeah.
they
I
get
mean,
taken advantage of so
They're
easily.
blood,
too,
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
And being willing to step up and not ask your volunteers to do something that you wouldn't do yourself.
Yeah.
And making sure you say thank you, and thank you goes a long way.
yeah.
Yeah. It does. Yeah, you're right.
I really, really, for me, what I would like to see Twilight become is this really community-based theater where we support all of your work outside. Portland community is somewhat difficult to get your feet wet. A lot of companies are company-based, and they put on great work, and their actors get to hone their craft and do lots of shows. Sometimes you want to audition for shows and you can't. They don't want to see you, or there's the PATA, which works for some people, doesn't work for me. So it's just really hard, and we're getting so many new actors coming in.
I noticed that. The last auditions were huge for
new
stage
work.
kids.
It's like everybody gets. I want to give as many people an opportunity to act and to be on stage and to show off their work, so that way other directors and other actors can come in and see our work and say, "Ooh, they'd be good in this show," or "Ooh, they'd be good in this show." Because I just want everybody to have as many opportunities as they possibly can have.
I think I had an old technical director I used to work with, and he called the theater community he said that they practiced theater incest. And I think that's true for a lot of theater companies in community theater. We cast the people that we know, and it's the same 20 people working in everything like in town. And that's unfortunate because you want. I think everyone should take a theater class. I think everyone should go to the theater. I think everyone should, at some point in their life, whether they really want to pursue it or not,
it's universal.
To do a play.
Or just watch one too.
Experiencing that is so unique. My ex-husband had never seen a show at all, and he saw The Normal Heart, so he had no idea what a play was even like. You know what I mean? He had no idea, and there's so many people out there with those experiences because film is the new god of media right now. So,
and a side note is, as a director and an actor who's been on stage, I love going to see theater people or go see theater with those people. Like Wes and Bruce, who don't nitpick like I do, to be able to watch the theater through their eyes and have those conversations afterward. I mean, it's,
perspective is really interesting.
That was just I digress.
No. And something else that I wanted to mention too, you had talked about it a little bit earlier about how the Portland theater community follows and supports each other. That's something that's really unique out here.
It's very rare,
In California, where Chris and I came from, I didn't see that at all. But people would come to the Normal Heart from other shows and their show families, and then we in turn would go see their shows, and it was like this constant back and forth of filling each other's houses with other supportive theater people, and it's incredible what you guys have.
And very kind. Because we're helping keep the theater alive. So which is fantastic because we're like I said, we're volunteer based. Hoping to pay our talent soon.
Okay, so let's talk about that really quick because I don't know how much time we have left. But as the president of Twilight's board, where are your goals? Like, what's in a year? Where would you guys like to see Twilight?
To have enough. In all honesty, it's about money. To have the funds to be able to pay the rent and to upgrade some things and get a sound system in here so we can have musical shows. We'd love to be able to do musicals, but we can't because of the sound. So it's just it's continuing to put on the productions that we put on, which are amazing that people want to come see. I mean, our audiences are getting bigger every single time. And it's kind of funny because it's by the last week it's close to full houses.
We Jason and I just both closed Antigone like a week ago, and it's not a play that is going to attract a lot of people. At least I don't think in today's
they hear Greek tragedy,
modern audience. You think Greek tragedy? I don't really want to go see Antigone, but like by the final weekend. I mean, I think
Saturday night we had almost 80 people.
And Sunday for a matinee was still really full.
Even Super Bowl Sunday we had over 30 people, which was amazing.
Well, because a lot of the people that are going to be listening to this are doing their own community theaters, whether it's in San Jose, California, or Providence, Rhode Island. So, as the president of this board, what would you share with them in terms of how you're trying to get Twilight on track to make your financial goals, to put a plan in place, to bring in new forms of theater, musicals, like what top, like if you can think of 3 things that other theaters could try and on the spot.
3 things right
go.
now.
Pop
And
quiz.
this really is on the spot. We did not ask him this.
no.
No, you did not.
I didn't. I didn't. But
It might sound cheesy, but for me, like this world itself, the way it is, with so much anger and so much hate towards each other, and bullying is looked upon as okay, and hatred is looked upon as okay. The theater is one of the few places where we can have this community where we can love each other and communicate with each other. So it's kindness, open communication, and professionalism. You're still a business.
Exactly.
And if you're not professional, then you're not going to get the support. You're not going to get the people in your seats.
Yeah.
So,
Because these communities are small and word spreads, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And
everyone kind of knows each other wherever you're at.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's one thing I've noticed too, is that this community is so small, and we share talent and we share everything like that. Things that you say that you didn't want to get to the other person get to, and I'm just as guilty.
Right.
So
that professionalism and that
So that's-
separation of church and state.
exactly, exactly,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us your worst audition story?
Oh my God. It was for Little Shop of Horrors at Western Oregon University, and I wanted the part of Seymour so bad. It's like my dream role. I didn't get it.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, I didn't get it. And I went and spent some time with a friend of mine who played a piano and learned a whole new world. Like the not the Peebo Bryson version, but the I can show you the world. I got so nervous and butterflies in my stomach. I went in and like just puked for 10 minutes into the urinal. I didn't make it to the toilet because I was just leaning against the wall and then it became dry heaves. And then 10 minutes later, after drinking some water, I went in and I had no voice. So I got the part of the puppeteer in the middle plant.
Tree
That's
number 3.
important.
Yes. Yeah.
That's such an
Oh yes,
important-
I also did the Grow for Me.
Okay, and
Horrible.
Well, since we asked you your worst audition story, how about your worst moment on stage?
oh, I love these stories.
I tell this one before every show that I direct because
Oh yeah.
I've dealt with actors who go on stage and they mess up and then it just throws them and they beat themselves up and everything like that. So I tell people that it could be worse, and this is why.
Yeah.
We were in a play called the subject was Roses at Jack Oaks Theater. It was the only play I ever did until I came here, which was 10 years ago. And we drank beer. And we had to pour it in my mom's glass, and she was going to drink it too. And we were supposed to have this great time and drinking and getting drunk.
Right.
The apple juice that was in the bottles
Okay.
fermented overnight. So there was this layer of mold in the bottle that we had no idea was there. So we're on stage, and we're in character, and we start drinking, and we're like,
Oh no.
What is this?
yeah. So now we're just like putting not drinking it at all.
Chewing slightly.
Yeah.
Your
And
beer.
then we poured. The father, I think, pours the beer into the mother's glass, and it's a clear glass where the audience can see. Chunk, chunk, just dropping in.
Plop.
Yeah.
Pulling out chunks of mold
We stayed-
casually.
We
So
stayed
stage
in character.
managers.
Yeah, stayed in
Thanks
character
for-
the whole time, and so it could be worse.
Oh gosh.
Could be worse. Well, thank you, Jason, so much. We're so honored that you were our first guest
you.
on our podcast.
I hope I did okay.
You
You
did
did
so
great.
good.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
So good.
Thank you.
And that's our show. Thank you so much for listening. Please follow us and like us on social media, rate us well on iTunes, and share our show with your friends and family.
We want to give a huge thanks to Jason for being on the show, and of course to Twilight Theater for allowing us to come down and record at their space.
In our next episode, we interview the ridiculously talented and funny actor Craig Fitzpatrick. You do not want to miss it.
If you'd like to learn more about Twilight Theater or get tickets to their current show, visit twilighttheatercompany.org.
Want to learn more about us, be interviewed on the podcast, or find out some more about our upcoming contests? Then visit communitytheaterheroes.com.